Welcome to Famous People, English Stories. Ready to level up your English? Here we learn through stories slow, clear, and fun. Listen, relax, and enjoy the journey.
Introduction. In this story, you'll follow Maya, a young woman who discovers how to think in English and transform her life. After watching, share in the comments, what's one sentence you will start thinking in English today? Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more inspiring stories every week. Chapter 1: The Beginning of Change. Her name was Maya. She was 25, quiet, and a little shy. She lived in a small apartment in Manila, working as a freelance designer. Every morning, she made her favorite coffee, opened her laptop, and checked her emails. Life was simple, but something always bothered her, her English. She could read it. She could write it. But thinking in English? That felt impossible. One rainy afternoon, Maya was on a video call with a client from Canada. The client said something quickly. Maya didn't understand. She panicked, smiled, and nodded, pretending everything was fine. But inside, she felt small. Embarrassed. Why can't I think fast in English? She asked herself. Why does my brain freeze? That night, she sat by the window, watching the rain. She remembered her dream of traveling, of speaking fluently, of working with international clients without fear. I need to change something, she whispered. That small whisper was the start of a big journey. The next morning, Maya made a decision. She would stop just learning English. She would start living it. She opened a notebook and wrote at the top of the page, "How to think in English." That was the question. She didn't know the answer yet, but she was ready to find it. Her first step? Immersion. She changed the language on her phone to English. She changed her laptop settings. She unfollowed some local pages on social media and followed English-speaking creators instead. Every video, every comment, every sentence had to be in English now. At first, it was hard. Very hard. She read a post and had to look up every third word. She watched a video and missed half the meaning. But she didn't stop. She kept going. One evening, she went to the grocery store. While walking through the aisles, she looked at a tomato and thought, "This is a tomato. It's red. I'll make soup tonight." She smiled. Wait a second. I just thought in English. It was small, but it was real. From that moment, Maya created a game. She called it English Mind Mode. Wherever she was, on the bus, brushing her teeth, walking home, she would describe things around her in English. I see a dog. It's barking. That man is running. The sun is hot today. Simple thoughts. Short sentences. But all in English. Then came the next challenge, emotions. One day, she had a fight with her friend. Her heart was full of emotions. She cried. But then she tried something new. She opened her notebook and wrote, "I feel sad. I feel angry. But I know I will be okay." It was the first time she had described her feelings in English. It didn't feel natural, but it felt powerful. The more she practiced, the easier it got. And it wasn't just speaking, she was thinking in English, little by little. It started with nouns, then verbs, then full thoughts. Her brain slowly switched languages, like changing gears in a car. Weeks passed. Maya kept going. She talked to herself while cleaning. She read aloud while cooking. She even dreamed in English once, just one sentence, but it stayed with her all morning. Then, something amazing happened. She had another call with a client, this time from New York. They spoke quickly. But Maya didn't panic. She understood. She replied. She smiled. And this time, it wasn't fake. She felt confident. Natural. Proud. After the call, she closed her laptop and whispered, "I did it." That night, Maya wrote a note in her notebook. Thinking in English is not magic. It's a habit. A daily choice. And I'm choosing it every day. Her journey was just beginning, but she had already changed something big, not just in her language, but in herself. Chapter 2: The Voice Inside. Maya woke up early. The sun peeked through the window, painting golden lines on her bed. It was quiet, calm. She stretched her arms and smiled. But something was different. Her first thought of the day was in English, "I need coffee." She laughed. "Wow," she whispered. "My brain said that in English. First thing in the morning." This was new. And exciting. Over the next few days, Maya became more aware of her thoughts. She realized something important. Thinking in English didn't mean translating from Tagalog or any other language in her head. It meant skipping the translation. It meant using English directly, even if the words were simple. Still, some days were harder. Some days she felt tired. Her brain wanted comfort. It wanted her old language back. And sometimes, it won. One afternoon, Maya sat in a cafe with her notebook. She was watching people. Two girls were laughing at the table next to hers. A man in a business suit typed quickly on his laptop. A child asked his mother for cake. Maya tried to think in English. They are laughing. He is working. The boy wants cake. But then, a voice inside her said in her native language, "This is too hard. Why are you doing this? You'll never be fluent." That voice was loud. Too loud. She paused. She looked out the window. And then she did something powerful. She answered that voice, in English. "No. I'm not perfect, but I'm better than yesterday. I will keep going." She wrote that sentence in her notebook, underlining it twice. That became her new rule. Whenever the negative voice speaks, answer it in English. This small habit changed everything. Now, when she made a mistake, she didn't say "I'm stupid." She said, "It's okay. Mistakes help me learn." When she felt shy, she didn't think "I can't do this." She thought, "I'm learning. I'm growing." Little by little, she was reprogramming her mind. One evening, Maya sat with her cousin Lila, who had always been better at English. Layla was confident, funny, and spoke quickly. Maya used to feel nervous around her, but not today. Layla asked, "Hey, you're sounding really good in English lately. What changed?" Maya smiled. "I stopped being afraid of thinking in English. Now I just do it." Layla looked impressed. "Really? That's brave. I still get stuck sometimes." That surprised Maya. Even Layla gets stuck? It made her realize something else: everyone struggles. Even fluent speakers. Even confident people. Thinking in English wasn't about being perfect. It was about being present. About training the brain to stay in the language, even when things get messy. After that talk, Maya felt lighter. Stronger. She added another rule to her notebook. Don't judge your English thoughts. Just let them be. The next day, she went for a walk in the park. As she walked, she played a little game. She named everything she saw: tree, leaf, bench, old man, running dog, pink shoes. Then she made sentences. The dog is running fast. The old man is smiling. The wind is cool. Then, questions. Where is the girl going? What is that bird doing? Finally, full thoughts. I love this weather. Walking helps me think. I feel good today. It was like building blocks. One thought became two. Two became four. And soon, she was not just speaking in English, she was living in it. That night, she recorded herself talking about her day. She listened to the recording and smiled. I sound like me, she said. But in English. Maya didn't feel like a student anymore. She felt like a speaker. Like someone who owned her language. Before sleeping, she added one more sentence to her notebook. The voice inside my head now speaks English. And that voice is kind. She closed the book, turned off the light, and let her thoughts wander, still in English, still gentle, and still growing. Chapter 3: The World Becomes a Classroom. Maya was sitting on the train, headphones in, phone in hand. Her playlist was all in English now: podcasts, interviews, and soft acoustic songs with clear lyrics. She didn't catch every word, but she had stopped hitting pause every time she didn't understand. Instead, she focused on the rhythm, the emotion, the way native speakers expressed everyday things. As the train moved, she looked at the people around her. Some were reading. Some were sleeping. Others were staring out the window, lost in thought. She smiled. In her mind, she began narrating. The woman in the red coat is reading a mystery novel. The man beside her is yawning. Maybe he had a long night. It had become a habit now, observing and thinking in English. Not translating. Not hesitating. Just noticing and describing, like a quiet storyteller walking through the world. When she got off the train, she stopped by a bookstore. She didn't go to the language learning section. Not this time. Instead, she walked over to the fiction shelf and picked up a novel written entirely in English. The cover was blue with silver letters. It was a love story, simple and sweet. She read the first paragraph standing right there, her lips moving slightly. She understood most of it, but more importantly, she felt it. The characters, the emotions, the story, it all felt alive. Maya bought the book and left the store with a quiet joy in her chest. That evening, she went to a small restaurant alone. She brought her new book with her and sat near the window. As she waited for her food, she opened her notebook and wrote, "Today, I will turn everything around me into a classroom." She looked around and started practicing. The waiter is wearing a black shirt. He looks tired. The woman across from me is laughing. Maybe she's on a date. My coffee smells strong. I love this place. Even her inner voice sounded different now. She didn't realize it at first, but the sentences in her mind were shorter, clearer, and in English more often than not. When her food arrived, she thanked the waiter and repeated the sentence in her head. "Thank you so much." She imagined herself saying it in different tones, friendly, formal, surprised, excited. "Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much." She laughed to herself. It was like acting. Like trying on different voices until she found her own. Later that night, at home, Maya opened her laptop and joined an online English conversation group. It was small, just 6 people from different countries. The topic was hobbies. She introduced herself and said, "Hi, I'm Maya. I love drawing, reading, and learning new words." Her voice shook a little, but she didn't stop. She listened carefully, asked questions, and shared more about her favorite books and food. No one corrected her. No one laughed. They just talked, like old friends. After the call, she sat in silence for a while. Then she whispered, "This feels real now. I'm not just learning English anymore. I'm using it to connect, to express, to live." She remembered something her teacher once said. Language is not just words. It's how we carry our thoughts, our memories, our dreams. That night, before sleeping, she wrote 3 things in her notebook. Everything can teach me English if I pay attention. Thinking in English means thinking clearly, simply, and kindly. My world is now an English classroom, and it's beautiful. The stars outside her window looked softer that night. Maybe nothing had changed outside. But inside her mind, something was shining, brighter, clearer, and completely in English. Chapter 4, A Day of Silence, A Mind Full of English. It was Sunday morning. No alarms. No rush. Just silence. Maya opened her eyes and stayed in bed, watching the ceiling. She decided something. Today, she would spend the entire day in silence. No talking. No phone calls. No messages. Just her and her thoughts. But she wasn't doing it to escape. She wanted to explore something deeper. She wanted to listen, not to others, but to the voice inside her. The voice that now whispered more and more in English. She got up slowly and made tea. As the water boiled, her mind spoke. The steam is rising. The cup is warm. It smells like mint and honey. She sipped quietly and walked to her small balcony. The morning breeze touched her face. Birds chirped. Leaves danced. In her mind, the narration continued. This is peaceful. This is good. I feel calm. No one was around to hear her thoughts. But Maya wasn't alone. She had herself. And now, she had English inside her. It was no longer a foreign tool. It was a familiar voice. A soft presence. As she ate breakfast, bread, fruit, eggs, she described everything in her head. The egg is soft. The toast is crunchy. The berries are sweet. I like this plate. She even gave her food a little personality. The strawberries look shy. The blueberries are tiny and proud. She giggled to herself. English didn't have to be serious. It could be playful too. After breakfast, she read a few pages of her English novel. She stopped after each paragraph and tried to summarize what she read, silently, in her own words. The girl misses her brother. He left. She is lonely, but strong. She didn't need to use perfect grammar. She just needed to understand. To feel. To think in the language, without fear or overthinking. Around noon, Maya took out an old photo album. Pictures from childhood. School. Family trips. Birthdays. She smiled and whispered the stories behind each picture, in English. This is me at 5. I had no teeth. That's my brother. He gave me that hat. Here's Mom. She made that cake with love. Each memory became a mini English story. And with each story, her confidence grew. In the afternoon, she went for a walk, no music, no podcast. Just her thoughts. She passed a playground. The kids are screaming. They are happy. That girl is flying, no, swinging. But it looks like flying. She passed a bakery. The smell. Chocolate? Cinnamon? I want a cookie now. She passed an old man feeding pigeons. He comes here every day. I like that. It's peaceful. Every step was a sentence. Every breath was a chance to think, to feel, to live in English. When she returned home, she opened her notebook and wrote something new. I didn't speak a word today. But my mind spoke all day. In English. And I understood myself. That evening, she lit a candle, sat by the window, and reflected. This is what fluency means, she thought. Not speaking fast. Not using big words. But feeling free. Free to think, to feel, to be, in this new language. Before going to sleep, she looked at herself in the mirror. For a moment, she just looked. Then she whispered. You're doing well. I'm proud of you. Simple words. In English. And yet, they carried power. Kindness. Truth. She turned off the lights and let the silence return. But her mind? Her mind was full of words. Words that were not foreign. words that were now hers. And with each breath, those words whispered, "You are becoming." Chapter 5. The Mirror Speaks English Too. It was Monday morning again. A new week. A new beginning. Maya stood in front of her mirror, brushing her hair slowly. The sunlight touched her face, and for a moment, she looked deeply into her own eyes. Then, quietly, she began to speak, not to anyone else, just to herself. "Good morning. You are strong. You are learning. You are growing." She smiled. Her voice was soft but steady. These were the same words she had written in her notebook. Now they were coming alive. Out loud. In English. It felt strange at first, but it also felt honest. After getting ready, she prepared a short speech. Nothing fancy. Just a paragraph. She stood in front of the mirror again, held her notebook, and began reading it. "Hi. My name is Maya. I love learning languages. English is special to me. It helps me meet new people, read beautiful stories, and understand the world better." She paused, took a breath, and read it again, this time with a little more energy. Then once more, without the notebook. Maya noticed something. With every repetition, she felt more connected. Not just to the language, but to herself. Her voice sounded clearer. More real. She didn't sound like someone copying a recording. She sounded like Maya. A version of Maya who could think, feel, and speak in English without pretending. Later that day, she had to give a short presentation at her online class. It wasn't a big deal. Just a few slides and a simple explanation. But this time, Maya decided to do it all in English. She rehearsed her lines quietly while making tea. "This is a project about travel. I chose Paris. I like French culture, but I'm explaining in English." As she practiced, she used the mirror again. "This is the Eiffel Tower. It's tall and beautiful. Tourists love it. I want to visit someday." She didn't focus on perfect grammar. She focused on meaning. On expressing herself with honesty. And she smiled every time she got through a sentence without stopping. When the class began, Maya felt nervous but ready. Her turn came. She shared her screen and began speaking, slowly and clearly. At first, her voice trembled. But as she continued, something shifted. Her words flowed. Her eyes sparkled. And her classmates smiled. When she finished, the teacher said, "Beautiful job, Maya. Your English is improving so much." Maya nodded. "Thank you," she said simply. That evening, she returned to her mirror. No notes this time. Just her reflection. She whispered, "Today, I used English to share something I love." And people listened. She thought about her past self, the girl who used to freeze every time someone asked, "Can you speak English?" The girl who feared mistakes. Who avoided conversations. Who only thought in translations. Now, she was thinking differently. She picked up her notebook and wrote, "The mirror doesn't lie. It shows who you are becoming. Every sentence is proof. Every word is progress. She remembered a phrase from one of her English books. Language is a mirror of the soul. Yes. She believed that now. As she got ready for bed, Maya looked out the window and thought. Today, I didn't just think in English. I spoke it. I shared a part of me. And that matters. Before turning off the light, she whispered one last thing to the mirror. Good night, English Maya. See you tomorrow. And the mirror smiled back. Chapter 6, Mistakes and Magic. It was Tuesday. Maya woke up feeling a little off. Her throat was sore, and her energy was low. She stayed in bed longer than usual, staring at the ceiling. Her mind whispered, I don't feel good today. Maybe I won't study. Maybe I'll skip English. But another voice answered back. Even on slow days, you can grow. She smiled. That voice used to be silent. Now, it spoke up in English. After breakfast, Maya opened her notebook. She looked at the words she had written the day before. They were full of hope and power. But today, something felt different. She tried writing a few lines about her day, but she couldn't find the right words. The grammar confused her. She crossed out every sentence she wrote. Frustration grew. This is wrong. No, this doesn't sound right. I'll never speak fluently. The negative thoughts returned. Loud and heavy. But then, something surprising happened. She remembered something her English teacher once said. Mistakes are proof that you are trying. Don't fear them, welcome them. So Maya took a deep breath and wrote in big, bold letters. Today I will make mistakes. And that's okay. She closed her notebook and opened her voice recorder app. She decided to speak, without preparing, without planning. Just speak. She pressed record and began. Hi. I feel tired today. My throat hurts. I don't know what to say, but I want to speak anyway. I think learning English is hard. But I like it. I love how words feel in my mouth. Sometimes I say them wrong. Sometimes I forget them. But I try. She paused and laughed. Okay, this is not perfect. But this is real. I am real. She stopped the recording. She listened to herself. Her voice cracked. Her grammar wasn't perfect. But there was something beautiful in it. Honesty. Effort. Magic. Later, she watched a video in English about people who learned languages through trial and error. One man said, Fluency is not perfection. Fluency is connection. Maya wrote that down. She circled it. She underlined it. In the evening, she called her aunt in Canada. Her aunt spoke English fluently and had always encouraged Maya to learn. When her aunt picked up, Maya said, Hi. Can we speak English today? I want to practice. Her aunt agreed, happily. At first, Maya made many mistakes. She forgot a word. She mixed tenses. She even said something completely backwards. They both laughed. But Maya didn't stop. She kept going. She asked questions. She shared stories. She listened. Her aunt said, "Maya, your English is so much better than last time." Maya smiled wide. "Really? I thought I made many mistakes." "You did," her aunt said, "but that's what made it great. You didn't give up. That's the magic." After the call, Maya stood in front of her mirror again. She whispered, "Today, I made mistakes. And I kept going. That's what matters." She opened her notebook and wrote, "Mistakes are not enemies. They are my teachers. Every error is a lesson. Every stumble is a step." She added a little heart next to the words. Before bed, Maya listened to her recording one more time. This time, she didn't hear broken grammar. She heard bravery. And in that moment, she understood something new. To think in English doesn't mean thinking perfectly. It means thinking freely. And that was magic. Chapter 7: The English Dream. The sky was cloudy. Rain tapped gently on the window. Maya sat at her desk, sipping warm tea and watching the raindrops race down the glass. Her room was quiet. Peaceful. She opened her notebook and stared at a blank page. Then, she smiled and wrote a question at the top. "What is my dream in English?" At first, the question felt strange. She had never thought about it like that. Her dream in life? Sure. But her dream in English? That was new. She closed her eyes and imagined. She saw herself traveling. Walking through airports. Reading signs. Asking for directions confidently. Laughing with strangers in new countries. Understanding movie jokes. Telling stories in English, stories about her life, her dreams, her thoughts. Maya began to write. "I want to speak English freely, like a river. I want to think in English and feel the words like music in my mind. I want to help others learn, too. One day, I will tell my story, in English." She stopped. That last part? It felt true. Deeper than all the rest. One day, I will tell my story in English. Yes. That was the dream. Later that day, Maya went to a local cafe. She brought her notebook, a pen, and a small English novel. She ordered her drink in English and smiled proudly when the barista responded without switching to her native language. She sat down, took a sip, and opened her book. It was a beginner's novel, but the words still felt like treasures. Every sentence she understood was a little celebration. A group of tourists sat nearby. They were laughing, talking fast, using slang and idioms Maya didn't fully understand. But instead of feeling frustrated, she leaned in. She caught words. Pieces. Feelings. She thought, "I don't understand everything. But I understand something. That's enough for now." She wrote in her notebook, "Even when I don't understand, I still belong here." English is mine too. Later that evening, Maya listened to an English podcast while cooking. The host was talking about dreams and goals. He said, "Don't wait for fluency to start living your English life. Start now, with the English you have." Maya paused the podcast. Those words echoed in her heart. She put down the spoon, wiped her hands, and ran to her notebook. I don't need to be perfect to live my dream. I just need to be brave enough to begin. That night, Maya did something new. She wrote a short story. In English. It was about a girl named Nina who was afraid to speak English but wanted to travel the world. The story was simple. Only 3 paragraphs. But it came from Maya's heart. She didn't check every grammar rule. She didn't use a dictionary. She just wrote. When she finished, she read it aloud. Slowly. Clearly. Proudly. She smiled and whispered to the mirror. This is my English voice. And it's growing. Before bed, she looked at the page where she had written her dream. She added one more sentence at the bottom. I will build my English life one word at a time. And that will be enough. She closed the notebook and turned off the light. Rain still whispered outside the window, but inside her heart, it was calm and bright. Maya was dreaming now, not just in sleep, but in English. And her dream was only beginning. Chapter 8: English in the Real World. It was a bright morning when Maya decided. Today, I will use English outside. Not just in books. Not just in my room. But in the real world. She packed her bag with a water bottle, a notebook, and her favorite pen. She put on her headphones and listened to English music as she walked to the city center. As she walked, her mind began translating everything around her. That sign says Fresh Bakery. That woman is pushing a stroller. That man is talking on the phone. She smiled. These little thoughts were no longer in her native language. They were in English. Simple. Clear. Natural. When she arrived downtown, Maya took a deep breath. She saw a small bookstore. The sign on the door read, "We love book lovers." She walked in. A woman behind the counter smiled and said, "Can I help you find something?" Maya hesitated for a second. Then replied, slowly but confidently, "Yes. I'm looking for English books. Easy ones. For learning." The woman smiled again. "We have a great section right over there." Maya followed her gesture and found a shelf full of beginner novels, English short stories, and grammar guides. She picked up a book titled Simple Stories for English Learners. Her heart skipped a beat. It was exactly what she needed. She went to the counter and paid. The woman said, "Your English is very good." Maya laughed. "Not perfect, but I'm practicing every day." The woman replied, "That's the key. Keep practicing, and you'll be fluent in no time." Maya thanked her and walked out, the book in her hand and joy in her heart. Next, she went to a park nearby. People were walking dogs, reading, playing with children. Maya sat on a bench and opened her new book. She read one short story. Slowly. She underlined new words. She repeated sentences aloud. She looked at people in the park and whispered to herself in English. That boy is eating ice cream. That dog is barking. The sky is so blue today. No one noticed her speaking softly to herself. And even if they did, it didn't matter. She wasn't speaking for them. She was speaking for herself. Then came a surprise. A girl around her age sat on the bench beside her. She had a map in her hand and a confused look on her face. "Excuse me," the girl said in English. "Do you know where the art museum is?" Maya's heart jumped. Her mind raced. This was it, a real conversation, in English, with a stranger. "Yes," Maya said with a smile. "Go straight, then turn left at the second street. It's next to the big library." "Thank you so much," the girl said. "Your English is really good." Maya blushed. "Thank you. I'm learning." Slowly. The girl smiled. "Aren't we all?" They both laughed. After the girl left, Maya wrote in her notebook. "I used English today. Not in class. Not in an app. In life. With people. And it felt real." She sat in silence, feeling the sun on her skin and the warmth of achievement in her heart. For months, she had studied, listened, practiced, and whispered to herself. Now, she was using English in real moments. In real places. With real people. That evening, she walked home with her headphones in. But she didn't listen to a podcast. She didn't need to. Her mind was already playing thoughts in English. And for the first time, it didn't feel like learning. It felt like living. Chapter 9, The Voice Inside. Maya stood in front of her mirror, holding a small piece of paper. On it, she had written one sentence. "I believe in my English voice." She repeated the sentence out loud, slowly. Then again. And again. It was part of a new habit she had started, speaking affirmations in English every morning. At first, it felt silly. Like talking to the wall. But day by day, it started to feel different. More natural. More real. That morning, Maya felt something new. Confidence. She walked to her favorite cafe and ordered her drink with ease. The barista greeted her, and they exchanged a few words about the weather. Simple, friendly, human. She didn't translate the conversation in her head. She didn't think in her first language first. She just spoke. Like breathing. Maya found a table by the window and opened her notebook. She had made a list titled, "Things I Hear My English Voice Say." She added, "You're doing great. It's okay to make mistakes. Keep going. One word at a time. English is not a test. It's a tool. Your story matters. Say it in your voice." Then she added one more. "I am no longer afraid to think in English." She closed her eyes and smiled. That one felt right. Later that day, Maya went for a walk. She had a new habit, talking to herself while walking, softly, like a whisper. When she saw a tree full of birds, she whispered, "The birds are singing today. I wonder what they're saying." When she passed a man selling flowers, she said, "The roses are beautiful. I like the yellow ones the most." When a child dropped an ice cream cone and began to cry, she whispered, "Poor little guy. I hope someone buys him another." These small sentences may have sounded like nothing to others, but for Maya, they were everything. They were proof. Proof that her brain was no longer running home to her old language. It was living here, in English. Thinking. Feeling. Dreaming. That night, Maya sat at her desk and pulled out an old recording. It was a voice memo from 6 months ago, the first time she had tried to speak English aloud. Her voice had been quiet, shaky, full of long pauses. "I want to speak better English," it said. Now, she recorded a new one. She looked into her phone and spoke clearly. "Hello. My name is Maya. I've been learning English for many months. I think in English now. Not perfectly, but naturally. I make mistakes, and that's okay. I believe in my voice. I'm proud of how far I've come." She pressed stop. Played it back. Her eyes filled with tears. It was her. Not just her voice. Her truth. Her journey. Her power. Maya sat quietly, feeling the moment. It was not a loud victory. No fireworks. No applause. Just her. Her thoughts. Her words. And her English voice, now strong and clear. Before going to bed, she added one last line to her notebook. "I used to fear speaking English. Now I use English to speak my dreams." She turned off the light. And inside her mind, the voice that once doubted her was silent. Only one voice remained. Her own. In English. Chapter 10, The Turning Point. Maya woke up feeling excited. Today was different. She could feel it deep inside. For months, she had practiced thinking in English every day. She had read stories, spoken aloud, listened to podcasts, and even talked to strangers. But today, she was ready for a new step. She decided to join a local English-speaking club. It was a place where people met to practice conversation. The idea both thrilled and scared her. At the club, people were chatting in English. The room buzzed with energy and laughter. Maya's heart raced. She took a deep breath and introduced herself. "Hello, my name is Maya. I'm learning English." Everyone smiled warmly. They asked questions, and Maya answered. Sometimes slowly, sometimes faster. Sometimes she searched for words, but the others waited patiently. One man said, "You speak very well. What is your secret?" Maya smiled and said, "I think in English now. It helps me speak without stopping." A woman nodded. That is the key. When you think in your first language, you have to translate. Thinking in English makes speaking easier. Maya felt proud. After the meeting, she walked home feeling lighter. Her mind was full of new words, new friends, new dreams. She wrote in her notebook, "I found my English voice in a room full of strangers. Now they are friends. My English is not perfect, but it is real." That night, Mia dreamed in English. She dreamed of traveling, teaching, and speaking freely. She knew the journey was still long. There would be hard days, moments of doubt. But she was ready, because she had learned the most important lesson. Thinking in English is not just about language. It is about living the language. And Maya was living it every single day. Chapter 11. Becoming Fluent, the journey continues. Months had passed since Maya first decided to think in English. She had faced challenges, doubts, and moments when giving up felt easier. But every day, she chose to keep going. One afternoon, Maya received an invitation. It was from a well-known company hosting an international conference. They wanted her to give a short speech in English about her learning journey. Her heart raced as she read the email. This was the moment she had dreamed of. The night before the conference, Maya practiced in front of the mirror. She remembered her first hesitant words, the days she whispered sentences to herself, and the moments she laughed at her mistakes. She smiled and said to herself, "I am ready." On the day of the conference, the room was full of people from many countries. Maya walked confidently to the stage. She looked at the audience and took a deep breath. Then she spoke. "Hello everyone. My name is Maya. I want to share my story of learning English, not as a perfect speaker, but as someone who never stopped trying. At first, English was a puzzle. I translated everything in my head and felt stuck. Then I learned to think in English, to live in English. That changed everything. I stopped fearing mistakes. I found my voice. I found friends. I found new dreams." If you are learning English, remember, it is not about being perfect. It is about being brave enough to speak, to think, to live in English every day. The audience applauded warmly. Maya's heart was full. She realized her journey wasn't about the destination, it was about the growth, the courage, and the joy in every step. As she left the stage, she whispered quietly to herself, "This is just the beginning." Because for Maya, and for everyone learning a new language, the journey never truly ends. It only grows stronger. And the best part? You can start today. Just think one sentence in English. One step. One word. One dream. And let your voice be heard. Thank you for joining Maya's journey in Famous People, English Stories. Keep practicing, keep dreaming, and keep thinking in English. The world is waiting for your story. If you enjoyed Maya's story and want to improve your English thinking skills, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more inspiring English stories.